This stream will not be recorded anywhere but you screw tubes. Anyways, welcome. If you're up and about and you don't want to sit there and fucking watch the rest of these dumbasses sit there and fucking lose their minds, welcome. I'm gonna put a poll in the chat, or if I can figure out how to do it. I'm gonna post at least I'm gonna post a damn whatchamacalls it up there comment, because everybody, this is how this is actually going to go. I need you to know it's not going to be pretty. Oh, great. I got to go the other fucking side of things. So just a moment while I take care of this. Now, you might be wondering why I set those emojis up as that. I want to point some out to you, because apparently folks didn't really recognize what I was saying when I put the title up there. Instead of voting for yourself to be a king or a queen, you voted to have a king or a queen lord over you. Doesn't matter who you voted for. I don't give a right shit. I really don't. I don't care who you voted for. Honestly, I'm not mad that Trump won. Matter of fact, I'm actually kind of happy he won in the respect of what good it does our country. Okay. And I'm going to piss y'all off by saying this. The difference is that you chose by your own hand to consent to whatever tyranny is placed upon your shoulders as a burden. You chose this. So I want to hear no goddamn complaining, no which way, one how, about not a damn thing from y'all. You chose to vote. There's a reason why that emoji, it says yes, is the screwball crazy eyes emoji. Because basically you did not think about it before you did it. You chose to go and do something without thinking on it. What is a vote? What does the vote represent? Because if you were to listen to some of these media moguls, they'll tell you that your vote represents your voice. I'm sorry to tell you this, but you opening your lips and smacking your gums together is what represents your voice. The words that come out of your mouth are what represents your voice. Your vote represents your acquiescence. There's a difference. When you don't open your mouth and talk in order to sit there and says this is wrong, you are being led like lambs unto the slaughter. That is General George Washington's words, not mine. So if you're mad at somebody, you be mad at General Washington. You don't be mad at me about that. And you can hate me all you want, sit there and dislike my videos and I don't like this guy. I think he's a piece of trash. Well, sorry to break it to you. The only person that has control over you or should have control over you is you. That is why I personally did not vote. I chose to not place anybody over you. I chose to say, I don't want a king or a queen. I don't want a parliament. I don't want anybody telling me or anybody whom I know and love and care about what they may or may not do in their day and their way. I choose freedom. I choose to be free. And so, like as I says, if that's what you think, if that's what you want to hear, that, oh, well, I went and I voted so that so many people could live under the rules and regulations of some asshole 3,000 fucking miles away. You're not going to hear that. I did not vote for you to be lorded over. You should be making your own choices. I do not vote for anyone to make my choices for me. My vote remains in my pocket because I do not choose to have anyone be my votee, my devotee. Did you not catch that part of language? Folks, they use it against you every single day of the week. They cut you down with your own words. Not even thinking about what you gonna do, because the reality of it is, if and you did, I'll bet you a bunch of you would have sat back and said, you know what, wait a minute. If I go in and I vote, am I forcing somebody else to deal with my decision? That means that I'm part of that tyranny. Now, maybe you didn't recognize this, but I said it before and I'll say it again. I did not vote because I will not have my opinions and my rules lording over you. You don't live in my house. I don't have to sleep with you. You are not eating my food, and I am not having to deal with your dumbassery. So, very simply put, I did not choose for you to have a king or a queen. I did not choose for you to have somebody tell you what you may or may not do. I voted for freedom. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings or if you think that I was a traitor at some way or somehow. I'm sorry that that hurts your ways. But I will not add to your lording over somebody else. I'm no bully. I am no person of tyranny. I'm sorry that that has to hurt so much and make you think so hard about what it is I'm saying. And I'm sorry that YouTube doesn't like me saying that. They don't like me having the fucking opinion that I do. They don't like me saying things because I speak truths and reality. I don't give a shit about whether or not it hurts your feelings. The truth of the matter is, if you voted for or against Trump, does not fucking matter to me because you voted for oppression. You chose to have a government hold you down. I chose to fly. What hurts me the most is that others would see fit to hold me down when all I want to do is fly. This is one of those into the darkness to uphold the light moments. I don't know if you knew that. That's why I don't have my tape off the screen, off the camera here. I'm letting you see the darkness because I am upholding that light. I am letting you see that by choosing for somebody else to lord over you and choosing for somebody else to lord over everyone else, that you refuse to make your own decision in the moment, and you're passing that off to someone else. And you are choosing that for somebody else. I am letting you see that the only thing that you have done is create the chains that bind you. And by doing so, you have created the chains that bind me as well. Regardless of who you voted for. This is what hurts me the most. That I could sit here and I could tell you this is why in history we fought so fucking hard against a tyrant. And y'all listen to me and go, oh, well, that means I should go and vote for another one. Break the cycle, damn it. If you're not going to break the cycle, then you don't deserve to call yourself a rebellion. You are not a rebel. You are not making your own decisions. You are basing your decisions on those that are given to you by the media. I am not one for Kamala Harris. I fucking hate the woman's guts, and I've made that abundantly clear. I actually kind of like Trump, but that doesn't mean that I want that man telling me that I may not have my whiskey on a Saturday night. I'm not wanting that man to tell me that I can't have my gun in my car. I don't want that man telling me that I can't feel confident as I walk down the street. And I'm not wanting that man telling me that I have to go to church every Sunday morning because if and I don't, then I must be against God. No man can say that he can see inside of my head, and neither could any man tell me that I could see inside of theirs. So what gives me or you or anyone the right to lord over them? I choose chaos. Because in chaos, at least there is the solace that I may dictate my own path. Oh, I'm sorry that hurts so much to hear. And I'm sorry that that really gets you riled and you're sitting there going, well, I hate him because he didn't vote. No, I didn't. And I won't. My voice would be drowned out by those who surround me anyways. Don't you get it? The district I live in would have ended up just negating my vote. And Kamala would have wanted any words. So it don't matter if I voted or not. I understand how our country is run. We are a representative constitutional republic, not a democracy. Your vote and my vote does not count anything more than to assign ourselves consent upon that contract. By doing so, by consenting to that contract, you state you will not take up arms to defend yourself against tyrannical government. And I'm sorry that that hurts so much for you to hear, but it's a reality because you can't. Not lawfully so. I can lawfully so. Because I paid attention. I refuse to utilize my vote because I utilize my voice. And when my voice is denied, then I may actually choose the cartridge box. That's how this works. You have to be a student of history in order to understand how it functions, or you will not understand the world as it is. I'm sorry that that hurts people's feelings. You ask me, are you a Democrat or a Republican? Neither. I'm a Blaine. I was born in America. That's why I call myself an American, because I've got no other country to turn to. I'm not going to run to France and start speaking Frank all of a sudden. That ain't my kind. I ain't interested in being a Frenchie, going and serving in the foreign legions. Not interested in it. For what? To be more so lorded over and tyranted against? That ain't my kind. That ain't what I do. I choose liberty. I'm sorry that hurts your feelings that, you didn't. Again, I'm sorry that hurts y'all's feelings. But I'm trying to bring you the raw truth of it. You chose a king and queen instead of being that king or queen. And that's what bothers me. You'd rather stay comfortable in the tyranny of society than strike out on your own and be the lone wolf that dictates their own path. I can't tell you how much that hurts because, in all honesty, it hurts me a lot more than it hurts you. Because I have to voice that uncomfortable opinion to you. And you still ain't going to listen to it. Y'all ever wonder why I am a little bit more angry and much more of an asshole than anybody ever kind of really put two and two together on? Maybe it's because as a society, people bullied me into damn near submission, and I had to fight to breathe. And now that y'all understand that, maybe you'll understand why I don't see eye to eye with nobody. I don't have friends because I don't follow the group. I strike out on my own. I choose my own path. And if you're going to sit there and try to manipulate my words and say, oh, no, you don't, you didn't vote, let me point some out to you. I chose my own path rather than choosing somebody to choose my path for me. I'm sorry that that's difficult for you to comprehend. I'm not sorry for doing it my own way. Now, if you don't like that, you're going to try and come and do me harm. On your own shoulders rests that burden. I hold nothing in my heart except love for my fellow man. But I tell you now, as pure as the driven snow is, I will never choose somebody to lord over you. And you should not choose someone to lord over me. Now, like I says, I'm happy that Trump won. I am. I'm actually ecstatic that he won because of what the implications are for the overall of the nation. That does not mean that I think that my decision was a bad one. I make my decision based on history. I made a conscientious decision to not cast my ballot. Because I am a conscientious objector to government in its whole form, in every form. Because to quote Daniel Webster, by the by, let me get that out so I can get the quote right. It's like I says, this is all about being correct on things. I don't give a shit about being politically correct. I give a shit about being correct. It is hardly too strong to say that the Constitution was made to guard the people against the dangers of good intentions. There are men in all ages who mean to govern well, but they mean to govern. They promise to be good masters, but they mean to be masters. I am not your master. You are not my slave. You are not my serf. I am not your king. Neither does that apply vice versa for anybody, because I do not consent to it. Regardless of whether or not I'm happy that Donald Trump won the election, Like I said, I'm happy he did. I chose to not place myself in that same situation where I chose a path for you. Because, like I said, if I would have cast my vote, it would have actually, because of the district I live in, counted towards Kamala, anyways. And I hate that bitch. This is what I mean by when I says we are a representative constitutional republic. My vote, even though it would have been cast in Donald Trump's favor, would have counted towards Kamala. Because of the district, because of the representative involved. That is what bothers me. And that is why you will never see me vote. Beyond the fact that I do not choose to have somebody lord over you. And I do not accept somebody lording over me. Y'all might call me an anarchist. Well, funny enough, our founding fathers were all fucking anarchists. Every last one of them were for anarchy. They were against monarchy. They were against having somebody lord over them. They chose to have a government because transitions are difficult. And men to that point had been governed. And if all of a sudden you just dump governance of the masses, there's going to be so much chaos that it will be difficult for one individual to negotiate. However, it was not supposed to be permanent. The fact that it was turned into a permanence is an insult to their memory. Now I realize that's a difficult pill to swallow, but bear with me. I'll walk you through it. The Whiskey Rebellion happened probably about 3 to 4 years after the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the Republic was written. And that rebellion was against the very thing that started the revolution. Taxes. Specifically on whiskey and other harsh spirits. But it was a rebellion on taxes. The very thing that kicked off the revolution itself. And y'all sit there and tell me, well, that's why you got to get out and vote, so that you can always beat those taxes. If it weren't for the taxes, I wouldn't have to vote. Huh. Well, if it wasn't for the vote, I wouldn't have taxes. You know that? If it wasn't for the president and the Congress and all this, I wouldn't have to. I could make my own way on free market alone, not have to pay for all these extra business licenses and whatnot in order to have my own business. As it stands, I got to pay for 4 different business licenses just to have one fucking business. And the question remains, if that is not overbearing tax, then what is? And see, this is why I utilized the verbation that I did in the title. I want you to understand exactly what you are pushing for, whether it be on your representatives, whether that be in the House or the Senate, whether that be for the president. You are choosing to have a king or queen. And what most folks don't realize is that the vote was pretty much it was already rigged for Trump. Read your Constitution, folks. And quote here. The executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States of America. He shall hold office during the term of 4 years, and together with the vice president, chosen for the same term, be elected as follows. Let me say this again. Capital H-E shall hold his office. Now, I know I've argued in the sense of, well, that means, in the plurality of towards all humans because of it, no. The way this is actually written is if you look at the fucking, and it actually took Alice pointing this out to me, surprisingly enough. Section of the vice president says he or she. And this is an older pamphlet that my cousin handed me, so it kind of really bothers the shit out of me. That's literally where it come down to. It didn't matter because when Kamala stepped up, Kamala basically lost the moment she stepped up because she is a she, capital S-H-E. It was a foregone conclusion before anybody voted. Anyways, what bothers the shit out of me is that folks don't want to accept all of that shit. So we're going to have riots and whatnot. Now, if you fire at somebody who is busting down your door and all that fun shit because of what Joe Taters went and put into fucking place before getting out of office, you will be accused of attempted murder for utilizing deadly force against a protester. Don't believe me? Please go and fucking look it up. Even if they're trying to burn your house down with you inside, you cannot utilize deadly force against a protester. They did that shit. Hell, Obama did that shit back in the day. They just reaffirmed it. But they're going to use that as an excuse to turn around and says that they are justified in removing said precedent, or they're going to use that as an excuse to throw good conservatives into the prisons and whatnot You know, regardless of whether or not it's the conservatives that shoot the motherfuckers. If you're a Democrat, if you're a registered Democrat, they'll just let you go because they're planning on cheating the next time around. It's a never-ending cycle until you break the cycle. It takes everybody deciding to break the cycle, not just Democrats, not just conservatives, not just liberals, not just libertarians, not just fucking independents, not just little old Blaine. It takes a damn army. And that is why, when it comes down to it all, you're not going to see this country ever evolve to being what it was supposed to be. It's just not going to happen. Our country will never be as free as it was meant to be. Because there will always be those idiots in society that choose to have the status quo rather than the scary freedom that they should have, rather than choosing that dangerous freedom. And that right there is precisely what really pisses me off. And that is the flag that I promised to carry. I don't know if people understood that. Hell, I don't even think Ron understood that. Makes you wonder. I really don't think even Ron understood that one. When you choose dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery, you better be willing to go the whole mile. Not just part the way. Real patriot understands that and accepts that in their heart. I'm not a fair weather patriot. I looked at the foundation of our country. When men and women on their own, without the government or any other entity to standing up and saying shit to Uncle Sam, or sorry, to old Georgie Porgy, stood up and said, not one more fucking iota. Not one. We do not accept. We do not consent. We will not be held under a king or under any tyrant. To quote a film, very recent, based in the same. For why would I discard one tyrant 3,000 miles away for 3,000 tyrants 1 mile away? For any legislative body can still just as easily destroy a man's rights as any king. I choose not to be lorded over. I choose not to be a slave. that means I'm gonna die for it, well, shit. It sucks. You know what really sucks is I'm out of my own fucking brand of coffee. And this coffee I got now is this flu crap that I don't like. Oh well, it is what it is. It's caffeine. And really, at the end of the day, that's all that matters at that point. Some point in time, I'm not even going to have that. I'm going to have me a migraine. Makes me know for a fact that what I'm doing, this is just the beginning. This is just the start of the pain. What's coming for me, I already expect to be terrible. Any Hoosiers. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're happy with your king and queen. I know I'm happy that at least it was this king and queen and not some fucking evil bitch that needs to have her fucking goddamn brain scanned. We dodged a bullet, folks. Sad fact of the matter is we shouldn't have even been in the line of fire. But because people ain't got no fucking balls to actually stand up and do what I did, across the board, come together and unite and be American citizens instead of being Republicans and Democrats. Well, guess we got another 4 years of having other motherfuckers tell us what we may or may not do. Anyways, y'all have a good night.